I'm a very passionate Indian, and I feel that if I'm doing something, it should benefit my country first. Don't flirt with the idea, marry it. So I would say like 6 months before, I would tell every student of mine, whether I'm consulting or training, let's spend 1 hour every day on LinkedIn. You will be giving me blessings for the rest of your life. But I still feel, even with AI, even with so much of content generation happening through AI, the original content is still going to be the king. Indian people, they are good learners, they're fast learners. And I think there was a time when I remember the first time I went to Frankfurt, I went to someone and showed him the art, and he said, sorry guys, you are good at IT, but don't try to enter into creative domain.
Hi, we are back. Yet another unfiltered human on an uncharted terrain, exploring, discovering himself, and while we are here, discovering ourselves too. Sandeep Kaushik ji, welcome to Unbound, episode 66.
Thank you so much, and it's good to hear. It's the 66th one,
Yes.
so you're doing great.
Yes, it's a milestone. We are 3 years into and rolling. So, Sandeep Kaushik ji, someone we look up to, someone who's been a leader and who is the change, and he leads with that change, and who inspires. What's your journey? What are the beginnings?
Well, I'm from a very humble family, and I think family of, I would say, teachers and engineers. My mother was a principal, my sisters are teachers and engineers. And of course, born and brought up in a typical family where people are working and working for the country and also teaching. In fact, I was the first one to get into, after my graduation in computer science, which is post-graduation in computer science at that time. I started my career as a trainer, as a corporate trainer. And then, of course, since I was a good speaker, so my then boss told me that marketing would be good for you. Okay. So I joined the marketing team, and I was heading the marketing team, and I left that job. I started my entrepreneur journey almost like 32 years back. And that time I was the first one in my family to start business.
Absolutely.
And
teachers to, serving the nation, and someone here
yes,
taking up
they've always lived a simple life and
Yeah.
also very structured life. I was like not really happy with the jobs. So I thought maybe it's time for me to be an entrepreneur. Journey's been great. I mean, of course, for any entrepreneur, it's always ups and downs and a roller coaster ride. So we've seen ups, very ups, down, and of course, very down as well. Started as a data processing company, then kind of shifted towards a designing company, majorly books designing. Went international, did some joint venture with Bharti Telesoft. And that's where I earned my first dollar. Wow. And then I thought it's good to kind of earn in dollars. So the focus started shifting towards exports. And that's where we started our biggest design studio in India. Started very humble, small team, but then gradually we went up to 200 plus people. The studio was named Book Matrix, and we were creating books for publishers across the world. We learned it from them, but we kind of mastered the art and craft. And then I, of course, launched my own brand, which is Macau Books, where we started creating our own content and started selling worldwide. And with my experience of selling worldwide, almost 6 years back, I started another business, which is Winning Mantra, where I guide entrepreneurs who want to start their global journey. So I do trainings and I do handholding. And of course, in between, the big change also happened then when I joined a network called BNI, almost 13 years from now. And then it kind of changed me in a lot many ways. It's peer-to-peer leadership, a lot of learnings from each other. And you are amongst entrepreneurs. So that vibe of entrepreneurs and that growth of entrepreneurs and ups and downs. So you learn a lot from each other.
Yeah. Very, very eclectic and with its own bumps and, highs. But what's very interesting is that when you are that young, and sometimes maybe you are even a little lost, how to get that focus as to, so you chose publishing or you chose exports. How did even that focus come about?
So frankly, in my case, when I started, I was very good at communication, number one. But then when I started my business, I looked at the market at that time. And at that time, there was a lot of scope for data processing because computers were new at that time. I was talking about 93, 94. So I kind of understood the pulse and then started my business focusing on the requirement of the people. That's how it started.
Yeah. So you identified the need.
I
there.
identified the need and I
Yeah.
identified there a scope.
Yeah.
And then I started a small unit first and then gradually it started growing up. Then again, in between the process, while we were doing this and we were doing pretty good, we worked with Delhi government quite a lot. We got an opportunity by a friend's father saying that, I mean, at that time, it was like, तूने कंप्यूटर तो लगाए हुए हैं, मेरी डिजाइनिंग भी कर दे टाइप्स. So I was like, I checked out कि DTP softwares हैं, I found some guys and they're like, why not? So it started as an experiment and then eventually we started getting more and more because we were more structured. That tech background really helped me in terms of making it more structured. And we started doing a lot of this work from India. And eventually I got an opportunity to do something with Bharti Telesoft, again with a friend of mine. And we got into designing for publishers in US. That was a game changer. That actually changed my mindset, from earning in rupees to earning in dollars. And also the fact that Indian people, that they are good learners, they're fast learners. And we have learned a lot over the years. And I think there was a time when I remember the first time I went to Frankfurt, I keep repeating this, that I went to someone and showed him the art and he said, sorry guys, you are good at IT, but don't try to enter into creative domain. And I was like, why? He said, no, because you got to make cows and fallows and different shapes and all that. And they were like very big design studio and he was the owner of that. It got hurt, you really feel bad about it. And I came back and I worked really hard for the next 1 year, finding artists from across India, from Calcutta, Odisha, even Chennai, getting them in, training them, taking help of some people who are working outside as well. And then I created a portfolio in 1 year. And of course, we were doing work together with that. And I went to him again. Thankfully, he gave me a meeting. I was thinking that maybe he might not give the meeting. I showed him the profile and he said, oh my God, you guys are going to have chicken and it seems we are not even going to have peanuts. Because our artists, they are very creative and they only need to understand what exactly need to be created. So I think for any entrepreneur, it is very important to understand, firstly, what problem you are solving. And also for that problem solving, can you create a niche? Can you create something which others maybe are not able to do? Or maybe very few people are doing. So there is a scope of growing.
A very interesting insight, actually, in hindsight, that I get is that as an entrepreneur, as somebody who believes in your own dream, when a feedback comes, then you've got to be that agile, fast, adaptable to just work it out for yourself. And you can't take that as an excuse, right?
True that. Yeah. I think I always tell a lot of startup guys and a lot of entrepreneurs also that as an entrepreneur, you keep getting great ideas in your mind. I mean, of course, you can't really try all the ideas. But if you really have something which you are passionate about, a famous saying called, don't flirt with the idea, marry it. So
that can come from somebody as seasoned as you only.
So basically, I mean, a lot of time we keep thinking, but yeah, if you are passionate about what you're thinking, then give it a try. I mean, there's no problem in doing that.
All right. Coming to this soul searching and finding that after every few years or a decade, you've pivoted, right? And you pivoted not only to go down in the niche, but perhaps even do something completely groundbreaking in a different industry and a sector. What kind of gives you that, if I may call it, to be an intuitive understanding or a leap of faith?
So I think that also came from like your own strengths. So when I started this new venture, which has nothing to do with my education and also publishing, frankly, from the time I started publishing, I thought that I'm the pada likha guy. There are a lot of people who are learned in publishing, but then, of course, I had a tech background and I really felt very confident going and talking to people. That's when I also thought that when I started exporting, I have gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of knowledge. But then you don't really get that energy from inside that you can share that knowledge. You need to get that feeling into you. So that way, I mean, my organization, which is, I told you, like the networking one, BNI, it really helped. Because there, of course, we talk every week. We give presentations, we do learnings through trainings. And I became a trainer around, I would say, 10 years back in BNI. So we learned, first of all, how to train. And then we started training almost every second week. I mean, I started doing trainings every second week. So it gave me a confidence that anything which is in my domain of knowledge, and I always feel that's something which comes from your heart and from your experience, you will be able to speak and train more people and help more people because that's your skill set. So you have mindset, skill set, and then eventually it will happen. So what I found is that I started enjoying training. I keep getting good feedback from people that I always speak from passion and, So you got that confidence that you're a decent trainer. You keep
that has come as a validation.
Yeah, you keep
also.
learning.
Yeah.
So then I worked out like my skill set when I thinking of starting something new. Yeah, I sat down, I did my SWOT, and then I found out that 2 industries where I can work on. One was a publishing one because close to my heart. One was exports because I've been exporting for almost now like around 29 years.
Exporting what?
I was exporting children books only.
Children books.
My own product. I had a brand by the name of Macau Books.
Yes.
So we are doing export to almost 100 plus countries. So there were two domains. One was very transforming. I mean, it's going through digital and a lot of changes were happening. And it's kind of reached, I would say, a saturation level, but a level where things were not very crystal clear. On the other hand, when I looked at export in general, I mean, I have learned everything the hard way. In the sense like there was no trainings at that time, no trainer to teach you about marketing, sales.
No manuals, no nothing.
Only there was some training by the government about the legal aspect of business. But that's something you learn very fast. I mean, you don't need trainers for that. So I thought that's the area where I can really bring in that change. I'm a tech guy. I use technology quite a lot in my business. So I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to start giving knowledge to people and in line with the government vision, because the Indian government has a vision of reaching $2 trillion of exports by 2030. So we need to have more people who know about exports, how to do exports and all that stuff. So I think we started with knowledge sessions, then started doing trainings. And I think from trainings, of course, a lot of people whom I taught, they said, "Sir, kali training se kaam nahi chalega. You need to handhold us and guide us more." It's mentors. So I started mentoring and then basically handholding these people. And the good thing about this business, and it was very exciting for me, is that for the last almost 6 years, I have worked with almost 20 different industries. That's how I kind of.
What a great fitment. In the scheme of things, I'm sure, it doesn't happen very consciously, but we do develop some sort of a personal bias or favoritism. Are there any particular sectors, industries that you are very passionate about in terms of exports and you do see a huge potential for India as a country?
So I would say overall India has a great potential, not only because that exports are growing. I mean, of course, the government is working and signing a lot of FTAs across the world, and it is getting more and better. With every FTA they sign up, Indian production companies and even services company get more opportunities. Because when you sign a FTA, the import duty becomes 0%. And the ease of doing business gets more and more. So the chance of growth is very, very high. When it comes to like choosing or maybe favorites and all that, so I won't say any favorites, but I'm kind of like people who are starting new and people who are not really manufacturing themselves but are like traders. Because a lot of business in exports happening through traders. It's not necessarily manufacturers. So I do tell them that please start and think of a product, firstly, which has more demand or more export potential across the world, which can be checked through tools, and also which is helping the environment, and most importantly has good profit margins. Because a lot of products which people sell which are more commodities like fruits, vegetables, even dal masala
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even rice for that
Rice,
matter.
mangoes, apples, everything.
So they are getting exported in decent
Yes.
numbers, but the percentage of profit is very less. And for any entrepreneur, I think that it's not about the turnover. It's not about you're doing like crores and crores of turnover. It's about the profit you make. So I do tell people that if you're starting something new, start something which has great export potential, also have great margins.
Margins and helping the environment.
Yes.
That brings me to a very pertinent question, ESG. Like everybody is looking for compliances and everybody is wanting to go ESG friendly. What's your take in terms of export market? I mean, how do you really identify the strength of your country as a nation and then find a suitable fitment? From where do you really begin to do that SWOT, honestly?
So if you look at any market to really study like what is good for that country, like for example, we take India. Firstly, we always go by the data. Then we go by the trends. And then we also go by a lot of tools and technology available which will help you find the future trends. I mean, it's not something which is like gut feeling. It's like, nahi, US में ज़्यादा business होगा. वो तो होगा. But then ज़्यादा business है तो ज़्यादा competition भी है. कहीं कहीं लेवल्स में कुछ कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज में सैचुरेशन भी है कि जितनी डिमांड है उससे ज़्यादा ऑलरेडी इंपोर्ट हो रहा है. So it is a very structured approach to find out. Like for example, there are tools which will tell you what are the top 25 products which are selling going outside from India. What are the top products which have great export potential. So if you look at overall Indian potential in terms of products, we are doing export of around $437 billion of products. The scope is another $300 plus billion as of now, as of today. Wow. That's products, and of course services are extra. And that prediction or that kind of tech is available. We find out where are that $300 billion which can be achieved. So it's pure science and of course data, which will help you. And
Interestingly, I'd just like to pause here because this science and data and technology and access is more accessible today. But back then, when you started out, what would be the way to measure, to assess, and get this information or marketing insight that what is that is needed in that particular country or that specific target consumer segment? Where would that feedback or research come from?
So I would say I can tell you about my industry. Like I was a publisher and I used to travel a lot for exhibitions, for also meeting my clients and for conversions. So I always made it a point to go to the end point of sale. Okay. And also spend some time seeing what's happening, talking to people and looking at the trends of the new books which are coming and how they're doing in the market. Even for that matter, whenever we had book fairs in India, I always used to spend more time in looking at people, the way they are buying and what is the trend. We found out like people are not interested in just stories, they are interested more in activities, more in learnings for the child. So like the industry starts drifting based on the end requirement. So I think at that time it was more about studying the market, what's happening through trends. No tech tools available at that time, so it was more of my travel, which helped me understand like what's going to be the next trend. And of course, all the fairs we attend, they give you a very good view about the global industry and kind of what's coming up.
Yeah. Reeling back to now, I think life has come a full circle in a way. You started from coaching, you're back at coaching.
Yes.
And now, of course, you are equipping, skilling people to, level up their game. How has been the journey only if I look at the coaching? Like, who coaches the coach?
Okay. So if I look at my own journey, like whatever I've been learning, so of course I've been, what I'm coaching or training at this time is something which I have been doing for last 30 years. So my practical experience have actually given me a lot of learnings. And frankly, we always say in training, facts tell, stories sell. Yeah. So I have so many of my stories to tell when, I'm kind of training people. But having said that, I think life is changing. Industries are changing and the whole world is changing very, very fast. And with the advent of AI now, I think it's just transforming. So I would say like 6 months before, I would tell every student of mine, whether I'm consulting or training, let's spend 1 hour every day on LinkedIn, you will be giving me blessings for the rest of your life. Okay. But now it's changed. I started saying, still spend 30 minutes on LinkedIn every day, but 30 minutes on AI. Every entrepreneur, every business owner, even every student should start learning the tools. It takes time. Some people are tech savvy. They might be able to adopt them faster. Some of us are not. So it might take more time, but it is mandatory, I would say, for all of us to learn about AI and how it can help you in your business. You don't want to change the world. I mean, unless you want to start an AI business again. But for your own business.
Very well said. And this is exactly what we are exemplifying. We are talking, we are orchestrating all throughout on all our platforms that AI is the way to be. It's not about losing a job to AI. It's about equipping yourself and making yourself better skilling yourself to use the technology that can feed back into your business. So very well said, that point. But how really, if I may ask, of course, there's a tech side to it in terms of research, insight, trends, analysis. But is there any other way that AI is pivoting export as a domain?
Actually, so I have this habit, like whenever I give some knowledge to my students, I firstly utilize those things to myself and my business, see the impact, and only when I find, because most of these tools are paid. So I don't want my students or people I'm consulting to start investing without really getting the results. So I've kind of tried on my own business, and I have found that there are a lot of very useful tools. To start with, basically the branding part of it. So there are a lot of tools which can help you in branding, a lot of tools which can help you in creating the marketing collaterals like your website, your profile, and all that stuff. That's basic. But when it comes to like prospecting, like if you define a target segment, like these are the kind of people I'm going to work across the world, choose the countries you want to work. So through AI tools, it's easier to not only find them, but also start connecting with them. Right. And a lot of that process can be automated. So you don't need too much of human interference. You still need human to guide them. But then the execution can be done by AI tools.
Just give me one fine example, barring the marketing collateral part that you said, how you've executed in your, let's say, publishing business, finding the prospect, connecting with the lead. Like, how have you gone about it? Which AI tool are you talking about specifically?
So right now we tried two of them, which is Apollo and Snow. And Apollo has been doing pretty great for my own clients. And then we've been searching, like I work, my target segment is publishers, children's books publisher across the world, and also distributors. These are the two sectors I work with, focus on. That's my clear-cut target segment.
So those are your keywords.
Those are my keywords. And for every business owner, there will be a keyword, like importers, distributors, wholesalers, or a brand there. So you define your target segment, and then it'll start finding leads for you. You can create your communication. Again, communication can be created using AI tools. And then you're utilizing all possible channels to kind of interact with them. And I think prospecting is become very easy. Conversion is never easy. So conversion is like sales part is something which takes time, because you need to create trust, you need to create credibility, and that takes time.
But so at least from the data and the matrix point, you are sorted out as to this is the funnel that I have created. But translating it into business is just that you've overcome that speediness aspect of it. And to convert the business, you still need to take the workshop.
I mean, so there are ways, there are methods. You have to show yourself as an expert. You need to share knowledge. Life has changed. People want to work with experts. People don't want to work with, we used to say jack of all trades and master of none. They want to work with master of one. And whatever domain you're working in, you have to show yourself as an expert, which has become very important. And not just share knowledge. Not in terms of expecting, like we say in BNI, givers gain. So start giving to the industry. Start sharing your experiences. Start sharing your vision or maybe the trends you feel which are going to come. And people will love to connect with you.
And I believe in one more thing, which is start sharing your authenticity and your challenges. And I'm going to come back to you on that question. तो क्या आप आना चाहेंगे अनबाउंड विद ममता पे अनबाउंडिंग के लिए मेरे साथ? कोई स्टोरी, कोई आइडिया, कोई थॉट है आपके पास जो आप चाहते हैं कि दुनिया सुने? तो मुझे लिखिए unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. That is unboundwithmamta@gmail.com. या सिंपली हमारे किसी भी इंस्टाग्राम पोस्ट को या यूट्यूब के एपिसोड को लाइक, शेयर या अपने कमेंट्स भेजिए. What has been some of your biggest challenges as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's always pivoting? Internal challenges, external challenges, and how have you really gone about them?
Okay, so I think when I left my job, at that time I was doing almost everything for my company. I was heading that company, and then I was doing marketing, I was doing sales, I was doing production. The only thing I was not doing is cash flow. And when I started my business, initially the expenses were less, the income was very good, so there was no problem of cash flow. But then I started growing. And I started growing in terms of number, in terms of people, in terms of expenses, in terms of business. And business can go up and down. So when we were on high, we had like 200 plus people. Every 3 months we are doing, appraisals for people and a lot of HR activities happening and all that. And then small things, sometimes like the European recession, or like even for that matter, off late, the COVID came in like for 4 years.
Or what Mr. Trump is doing to the world.
Of course. I mean, I don't want to comment on that. So we do a lot of business in US. So basically, there are things which can happen in business which can take you completely off guard. So as an entrepreneur, most of us are not really ready for that. I remember a time when somebody came and told them, why don't we start outsourcing to people? And I was like, no, I want to do everything in-house. So every part of that book production process has to happen in my studio. And I was not really open to that. But gradually, with the changes happening throughout the world, with the publishing scene changing, I have understood the way not only to thrive, but survive. Yeah. So survive and thrive is by outsourcing to smaller people, smaller companies, freelancers, keeping a core team with you, utilizing their strength, but then still keep growing business. Wow. So you have to keep your expenses in control. And of course, look at the bigger picture. And now with, of course, AI coming in, you surely can, optimize it much more.
Yeah, and this is another wave of transition, if we could call after COVID. I think this is going to be huge once again.
Sometimes it's scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes very exciting, but I think it's both.
Yeah. Interestingly, books, storytelling, right? AI is, of course, changing that for us. Us being the content creators, the storytellers, we are always keeping an eye on that, very sharp one at that. How do you see that consumption pattern changing in terms of how people are reading, how people are accumulating knowledge? Because this is a time where we are even lacking 30-second attention.
Yeah.
This is a time when only a 10-second Instagram reel might perform and a 40-minute episode may or may not, or it'll perform with a very set niche target of audience. How do you make sure in your publishing business that you are really keeping it relevant with respect to the changing trends?
So I think one has to change with times. I mean, if you don't change with time, things are going to be different for you. I mean, it will be difficult for you. So what we had also seen is like the way things are changing across the world. Of course, storytelling is one part of it, but learning is the major part of our industry. So how people learn is something we need to keep changing. And as a publisher, as someone who creates content, we also need to keep innovating. We can't really run the same way as we were running like 10 years back. But I still feel, even with AI, even with so much of content generation happening through AI, the original content is still going to be the king. People who have that lack of writing new things, I mean, whatever you write through all kind of tools, they are good. I'm not saying that they're not good, and we are also using it a little bit. But still, the way creative writers or people uh, write is something which has a different kind of style or nag and stuff like that. That is going to stay. I don't think that's going to go away.
Yeah. My question is more on the format. So, for example, in my own children's school, what we are even seeing, even during these vacations, they were given a task where they were not books assigned, they were links assigned.
Okay, okay.
You know, where they were told that you click on this link and go to this book, and this book be read to you page by page.
Uh-huh.
You know, those are YouTube videos where actually a physical human somewhere in the background is reading the book page by page, and all you're getting to see is the soft copy of that book being turned, and then obviously the audio is following. How do you survive? I mean, how do you find ways to? Are you getting into digital side of
No,
it?
we are already working on the digital part of it. But I think, frankly speaking, this discussion is happening as back as 1997 onwards, when ebooks were launched.
Yes.
Everybody is like, everything is going to change and books are going to survive.
Audibles and all of that.
So books have, I mean, the digital books have captured a little bit market on the adult market, like for people like us who are reading, like even 30s plus and even 25 plus, I would say. But for kids, for learning, still I think books are the way to go. There's a lot of technology coming, so I won't say that people should not, I mean, the kids should not learn technology, but still a lot of learning will come through books, and I don't think it's going to be completely replaced. Personally, I feel that, but I've seen that for last like almost 25 years now. We have seen some changes happening, and also the fact that if you look at the education system all across the world, I think the education system is not going to accept technology that fast. Maybe kids might, maybe the students might,
Parents might.
Parents
teachers
might, yes.
But yeah.
but like for teachers and for institutes, I mean, to getting that kind of technology every day, learning and doing that stuff, it's not going to be that easy and fast. So I think they're going to exist parallelly. Right now, the percentage of tech in terms of child education is not very high, but it's going to balance it out.
All right. There was some interesting, questions that have been answered, because these are really the burning questions of today. We as parents are really, palpable about these conversations that will my kid never touch a book? Will they never know what is a bedtime story time? Because now my older one, who is 12, he is actually putting himself off to sleep by listening to a story on Alexa.
Wow. Great.
So, yeah, things are pivoting and change is the only constant. Moving the needle back to your personal journey now, some of the fears, challenges you spoke about, some of the fears that have really faced and stared you, and how have you overcome them in your personal journey along with your entrepreneurship? And what's your take on fears in life?
So I think I won't say fears now, because now kind of we've overcome them. But looking at any entrepreneur journey, especially in India, I think a lot of us, so I started that publishing part of company in India. Been exporting, and the export part of business always got us good money, good work. But within India, we have a system of credit. And that's something which takes us back, because I was actually, when I showed my system to a coach in US, he said that you're doing social service, not business. It is like you are financing the bookstores and people who are retailers by publishing. So it's like you are creating content, you are publishing them, you are printing them, you are investing money, you are keeping it in your warehouse, then you're distributing it all across India, and distributors in terms of their payment structure and everything. Yeah. And that's how the whole industry works, especially in the children books industry. Even the schools, for that matter, schools sell the books to parents, to kids on cash. But the publishers, they don't get that money in cash. They will have 6 months, 9 months, that kind of credit period. Maybe they're running the schools with this money, I don't know. But that's how the business works. And not only in publishing, I've been meeting people from various domains now, and I find this is a big challenge. That within India, the credit system, and so that's the difference we find in, like, especially in publishing, if I talk about I was talking to a publishing friend in Germany. He told me that they spend 80% of their time in creating good content for kids, what new they can do. And 20% is business matters. And he asked me the question. I said, I spend 85% of my time looking at the things and running the show. And only 15% goes to creativity. And then still we are able to create that kind of books, that kind of numbers. We have done around 7,000 plus books. The system there is that the prices are fixed, the terms are fixed. And if some company doesn't pay you, you put it in a group and nobody gives books to that company. In India, if you tell someone, they said, तुम्हें धंधा करना नहीं आता, हम कर लेंगे उसके साथ. But that's the change you want in your system. Because
So has that tied you down as an entrepreneur? Has that come in the way of your own growth in that sense?
yes, in terms of, see, anybody who's Indian, I'm a very passionate Indian, and I feel that if I'm doing something, it should benefit my country first. I started the publishing part of, like the Indian part of publishing, 2007. And now I've stopped publishing in India myself. For the simple reason that you end up becoming just a financer to everyone. And it's tough. I mean, I don't come from a background where my father has given me 10 crore rupees ki beta kar le business. So I have made everything from scratch myself. So yes, the kind of structure which has come in, it does pull you back.
Right. Again, I would want to bring a personal conversation here.
Okay.
While you're building what you're building, how much is that family end of the life that needs to be balanced? Of course, they are the real wind beneath your wing, but that energy, that faith, how do you take everybody along in your vision? And does that tip you off sometimes as an entrepreneur?
So I would say like somehow I am blessed that way, that I have an amazing family which is very, very supportive of what I do from day one when I started. Of course, initially my parents had some apprehensions because nobody had done business. But then they've seen me growing and doing good work and also employing so many people and helping some people, gain the livelihood and all that. So my family has always been a pillar of strength for me. My wife, my kids, they supported me in thick and thin. I mean, all the roller coaster you get as an entrepreneur, all of us go through that. I've also gone through it. But they always stood by me. And they had faith in me, and which actually gave me more passion to fight it back and come back and try new things. And I think for any entrepreneur, if you have to really grow your business, the other part of your life need to be settled. It's very difficult for any individual to run or to kind of struggle in two different lives, the two different parts of your life. So once that one part is settled, and of course sometimes the entrepreneurs take it for granted as well. I've also learned it the hard way that you can't take it as granted. You have to kind of balance that out as well. So keep the balance right, and of course keep that part absolutely strong, because that's something which is going to help you.
But doesn't this whole challenge that entrepreneurs take on themselves? I think that mindset is कि ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. They take that upon themselves. Doesn't it drain you out? Doesn't it kind of exhaust you at a point where you say कि यार ये सिर्फ मेरी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है? So, and how do you fuel yourself back? So is there any mechanism that you have found or built that, okay, when I call it quits, when nothing is going my way, what is your way to unbound and come back, rebound?
So a lot of time it also, I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's also about having some sounding boards in your life, some friends who are also business owners, with whom you can talk, discuss. And it is very, very important for everyone to find out the actual status of your business or what you're doing. What people see from outside, what you see from me and what I see for you might be different. But what is there inside us, we know it better than anyone else in the world. So it is very important for every individual to be truthful to themselves first. Don't try to fool yourself. I mean, that's the biggest mistake any entrepreneur can do. And once you understand where you stand, you have to create a roadmap. You have to, I mean, and sometimes we say that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to take it that stride. Sometimes you have to go slow. Sometimes you can take that risk. So you have to start calculating your risk, see what is good for your life, try things out. Without trying, it's not going to happen.
Right. Books, movies, travel. What really sort of drops the ball for you? Where do you really go back and re-energize yourself?
I would say I'm a very social person.
Okay.
So for me, socializing, talking with friends, sitting with them, partying,
It's a therapy.
yeah, it's a therapy for me. So when I am amongst friends, you'll always see me smiling.
Right.
Whenever I go to parties, I enjoy parties to the core.
Right.
My wife tells me that you're the first person to go in a party and the last one to come out.
Come out.
That has changed a little bit now. But then the thing is that I'm a social human.
Right.
I'm a social, I love going out, meeting people, making friends, talking to them, taking like inputs from them, giving them suggestions and whatever wisdom we have, and basically enjoying each other's company. So that helps me a lot. And in fact, I would say a lot of my friends have also helped me come out of the challenges in many ways. So it's always a good ecosystem. You say social capital. I mean, we keep talking about social capital, but I think social capital is very important for every individual and specifically for the entrepreneurs.
Tell me a little bit about doubt. Whenever that looms, you know, और वो होता ही है. मतलब आप अपने आप को भी judge करते ही हो, whether or not you like it. You know, one day you will wake up and you'll be like, am I doing everything right? Why is this not working? Or that didn't happen because I didn't do that. Again, what's your mechanism to bounce back?
Okay, so when it comes to doubt, of course, the doubt starts coming not from your inside. The doubt starts coming from the outside. When people start, when like you are someone who's kind of giving advice to so many people, when people start giving you advice, because sometimes things are not going the way you would like to.
Yes.
So everyone starts giving you
जैसे
advice.
वो नहीं होता है कि यार इस एस्ट्रोलॉजर को सब कुछ आता तो ये अपनी कुंडली नहीं ठीक कर सकता था क्या? So just
हाँ, so वो होता है.
Yeah.
मतलब कोचेस को भी कंसल्टेंट मिलता है.
Right.
और बहुत सारे कंसल्टेंट मिलता है.
Right.
So that happens with everyone. You know, when you're going up and up and up, everything you're doing is right. But when it goes down, it will go down someday.
Yeah.
That's the time when, firstly, people start kind of not believing in what you're doing.
Right.
And that eventually it will also come to you.
Yeah, because you will mirror. It'll mirror back.
It's
at
like,
you, right? Yeah.
इतने सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं तो कुछ तो लोचा गया मैंने. So I think the best way to kind of, I mean, the way I worked out, I mean, of course, everyone goes through that ups and down, and I've also gone through the ups and down. So when I was really down and kind of low, that's the time I thought that when people are saying that maybe there's something right in what they're saying. So I figured out that I worked out, I looked back in terms of what I did right, what I didn't do right. Ideally, that should have been done on a regular basis. Okay, every entrepreneur now I feel that should keep doing that on a regular basis. Maybe once in a month you sit separate from your business, away from your mobile phone, and think what you are doing. What you're doing is right, wrong, what can do better, you know, what you can improve, what you can leave not doing it. I did it later. I haven't started doing this like every month. Now I do it more often. So that's where I found out that there are certain things which, if I could have done it better,
but it's a self-discovery. It's
self-discovery.
A total
Self-discovery.
Okay.
Because you know what mistakes you have done. Unless you're not capable of finding your mistakes, that's the time you need expert helps. I mean, there are experts for everything around. So you can have experts helping you out in that. But if you can do it yourself, I think that would be really great, because if you are able to find out the mistakes you have done and something you don't want to repeat, when you find it yourself, you will never repeat it. When somebody points it out, maybe I'll still repeat it.
Yeah, because you might be even in denial mode.
इसको
You
क्या
might
पता?
not even
हाँ,
accept
इसको मेरे
it.
इंडस्ट्री का क्या पता? मुझे ज़्यादा पता है.
Yeah.
So I think I was able to figure out where I was kind of going wrong, and then I kind of changed it, and it helped.
Yeah. You come across as someone who is who still has that childlike curiosity about learning, wanting to know different things and all, while you are such a seasoned person yourself, what's your take on ego in leadership specifically, and in any authority role? Because a human tends to fall in that trap more often than not. And how have you kept yourself leveled up?
There's something I think, firstly, I learned from my parents. My mom, my dad, both of them lived very simple life. Like my dad that passed away a few years back. And till the time he was there, we've never heard anything, any stories about him in terms of, we knew that what he does. We knew that he was helping people. But then after his death, a lot of people came to us, a lot of people reached out, and a lot of people actually told how he helped them in multiple ways. And he never told any of the family members, forget about us, any of the family members, about how he's helped people. So that, I think that kind of values I'm born and brought up with. I've seen my mom doing so much for schools, for teachers, for the students and everything. I have never seen people bragging. So I have found out, वो कहते हैं ना बड़ा हो तो पेट झुकता है.
Right.
So I
पेट
kind
वही
of,
झुकता है जिस पे फल लगते
हाँ,
हैं.
फल लगते हैं.
True.
तो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं लगता है कि जितना आप अचीव करते हैं, I think it's better to be more humble. And ego is the world which can really destroy you in a lot many ways. Everyone has self-esteem. Self-esteem and ego are two different things. Sometimes people feel that their self-esteem, which is actually an ego. So you have to really define that well, number one. Number two, I think ego is something which nobody likes, other than maybe the person who has that ego. So I think I always believed, and I keep telling this to people, I believed in building relationships. Even if things are not working out well with someone, maybe you're not able to cope up with that mechanism, it's always good to slow it down, or maybe don't stay in that relationship, but don't cut it off. Keep that relationship
Never burn
alive.
the bridges.
Yeah.
So, again, back to your personal part of the story. So many learnings. I'm sure you've learned from many stories. Someone that you really idolize, could be living, could be not here anymore, could be even a fictional character, which is like, we all have some certain visions of people whom we look up to. It could be someone from this time, from history. Any such character, person who has also influenced your behavior in some way?
Frankly, for me, initially, of course, it was always about your parents. Then maybe a couple of teachers you kind of work with, idolize with. And then I think once I joined this business network, keep talking about it, the biggest gain I got is like I met friends who also had similar lives, entrepreneurs, ups and downs, and they are, really changing the world. Because the last 13 years, I've seen people starting very humble and now pivoting into huge businesses and impacting so many lives. And those people, those individuals, it can be someone as new as someone who just joined 6 months back, or maybe someone who's with me for the last 13 years. So they keep energizing me a lot. They keep motivating me more to learn and more to give. And that ecosystem has really helped me a lot in terms of keeping myself sane. At the time of COVID, when everybody was going through depression and things like that, we still kept meeting, we still kept doing even socializing on Zoom and everything. I think we were sane. We were happy. We were still sharing the pain, the happiness and everything together. So sometimes, certain things around you keeps you motivated and keeps you really charged up and keeps inspiring you to keep learning. Because if you stop learning from myself, you stop growing. Yeah.
Never have you ever.
I think I've done everything. So
Anything you want to tell to your 20-year-old self?
enjoy the life the way you did. but keep your mind sane and focused.
One thing which is a must-do ritual, like first thing in the morning when you wake up.
Just having a cup of tea with my mom.
A bedtime ritual, which is a must-to-do.
I normally watch Netflix.
Your all-time favorite book.
Something I've learned from Sean Aker. It's about social entrepreneurs. Really love that book. It changed my perspective towards socializing and meeting people and growing your network.
Your guilt pleasure.
Chole Bhature.
Oh, being a Delhiite.
And also Golgappe. I'm very fond of them.
Favorite holiday destination.
Goa. I love the vibe. I love the place. I love water. I love sea.
Something that you still hold as a dream, and what keeps you going towards that dream?
A life where I can spend more time with my family.
It's a chosen life you've gifted yourself. But if it was not for Sandeep Kaushik, who is he today, what else he would have been?
I wanted to join the army, frankly.
Oh, your best kept secret.
Let it still be secret.
Something, the way that you see yourself, like one thing, perhaps people don't know, perhaps people don't relate to you like that, but how that's one thing as a vision or a statement that you relate yourself with.
Yaron ka yaar. Friend's friend. I think I am a good friend of friends, and I love my friends.
One nugget of wisdom which you've imbibed or got from your children.
My children always gave me that strength to do whatever I want to do, to try new things. So I think they really inspired me to keep going and keep chasing my dream. They've seen my ups, they've seen my downs, so they're always there with me.
Yeah. One quote that is your go-to quote or quotable quote.
Not really a favorite one that ways. I mean, there's quite a lot of them. Keep conversing in different ways. So
Anything that you want to tell? I mean, of course, it's been a beautiful conversation and a lot of pearls of wisdom shared. But any one thing as a core message that you want to give to the entrepreneurs of today, people who are starting out their journey as founders, as experts, specialists?
So my bit of advice to any entrepreneur, any startup who wants starting a business, firstly for startups, don't start keeping in mind the funding part of it. Think of a viable business, forget about the funding. It come or doesn't come, it doesn't matter. You should have focus on changing the world. How your product, your services benefit people, and how you can be unique in that, work on that. That is something which is very, very important. Also, I want to tell you, entrepreneur is a very fascinating looking life, but it is not. It is not just fascination. It is fascinating as well, but it's a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment. And we say in time that credibility and trust takes time. So if you have that patience, if you have that courage, then only start your dream. And if you don't have that, I would say you're better whatever you're doing.
This was absolutely fabulous, Sandeep. Thank you so much for being who you are, for being that change and leader we aspire, look at and take a lot of courage from, and being totally unfiltered and unbounded. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Mamta. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I think I'm already looking forward to what's going to come on stage, because I don't know what I've spoken.
Yes, that's the magic. And one good piece to the camera, what's been your experience, a small testimonial which you'd like to just leave for us.
So the one thing I really loved about this podcast is when I asked her, like, what is going to be, she said, unfiltered. As what is it about? It's about nothing. It's about your life. It's about your business, and no further clues. So I think that's something which really excites me, because I'm also of that nature that, I go to trainings, I do have that points, I do practice, but then it's all about something which comes from inside. So when you have a podcast, we're talking unfiltered, you're talking about your life, your personal life, your business life, I think it's very exciting. So thank you so much for thinking about it and also creating so much of difference. I'm sure a lot of people getting inspired.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's keep unbounding together.